Hey everybody, what's going on? Just back here with a live stream. I was trying to upload a video for you guys earlier, but for some reason my editing program was working too well. So I thought, you know what, I'll just live stream the video. And what I'm going to do here is start by sharing my screen here. And I'm going to show you just some information with the question period that happened today where Pierre Poilievre just went full savage on Justin Trudeau. So let's have a And I just want to go back to where it starts. Okay, let's have a look and then we'll talk about it after like usual.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition. Mr. Speaker, we now learn there are about 40 Liberal MPs that believe that this NDP Liberal Prime Minister is not worth the cost, crime, and corruption. But there's this strange rule in the Liberal caucus that you need to have permission from the Prime Minister to speak at the microphone. So a Liberal MP wanted to get up and say quadrupling the carbon tax is a bad idea, or doubling housing costs is making people homeless. They can't do it. Will the Prime Minister lift the gag so his Liberal MPs can say to his face that he's not worth the crime, the cost, and the corruption?
Once again, in English, none of these questions have to deal with the administration of government, but I see the order. I see that the Prime Minister is rising to his feet. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, it seems that the Conservative leader is confusing rules that apply within his Conservative caucus for rules on behalf of the Liberal Party. The reality is, Mr. Speaker, we see at which point the Conservative leader is simply focused on playing politics and gaining power. That's why he wants to talk about things that are not having to do with delivering for Canadians. He doesn't want to talk about the fact that close to 1 million Canadians will be receiving dental care because of our Canadian dental program that he says doesn't even exist and that he's voted against every step of the way.
As the Honourable Member from Ottawa Crowfoot to please not take the microphone when the speaker is up on his feet or when other speakers have been recognized by the speaker is taking the floor. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, I'm sorry to have to bring up this terrible rule.
Sorry, I heard there's some audio issues. Is this better? I've been having some really bad issues today with the audio and video and my editing system. So let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Yeah, we do have a Matthew Green problem here in Hamilton. That's certainly true, and hopefully he's someone who can be voted out as quickly as possible. Again, can you guys hear me? I'm going to continue to play it. Let me know if you guys are having audio issues still.
It's just that Liberal backbench MPs are coming and talking to all of us to say that they're not allowed to speak to him. And they're wondering if I could perhaps pose some questions on their behalf. Mr. Speaker, I guess they can't get anywhere with the current Prime Minister, so they'd rather talk to the future common sense Conservative. Instead of silencing his own MPs.
All right, so apparently we're having some audio issues. I'm sorry about this, guys. I've been working on this for the past couple hours now, and I just can't seem to get it figured out today. So I'll just kind of recap it for you guys, and then, of course, we can, have a conversation about that as well. I'll go as long as people want. I know people are dropping in and out. Thank you guys so much for dropping in. Sorry, and please let me know what you think in the comment section. Feel free to ask any questions. Doesn't even have to be about politics, to be honest with you. It can be about really anything you guys are thinking about. Yeah, I come through clear, but the audio is, I don't know what's going on. I'll have to figure that out for tomorrow. But so to recap it, basically what Pierre Poilievre was kind of calling out Justin Trudeau and the fact that you have up to 40 Liberal MPs now. Now, last week it was around 20. Then I heard it was 30. Well, now it's 40 MPs who are going to confront Justin Trudeau tomorrow when they have their caucus meeting. And they're apparently going to put a bunch of pressure on him to resign or step down, whatever you want to call it. Let me know what you guys think about that. Do you think that those 40 MPs are going to have enough power, if you will, to get him to resign? Do you think they'll be able to put enough pressure on him? Or do you think that Justin Trudeau is just going to ride it out and just continue to try to be the winner of the next election, which is actually hard to say with a straight face because there's not a chance in hell that he wins. But let me know what you guys think. Here and share my X feed here. And by the way, if you're over on X, follow me at the Dan Freeman Show, and we can definitely have some more conversations. You're able to DM on X and whatnot as well. So it's a cool platform. So if you're on there, definitely give me a follow and I'll follow you back. So the pleb posted something. I don't know if this is real because I don't know if Poilievre would put this picture of Justin Trudeau up. But what's hilarious is that even though, like, if you go to 338 Canada, you look at the odds. Let's just have a look here. So they have the odds as 99% chance for Pierre Poilievre to win. But the issue with this is that 338 Canada isn't going to lose money if they're wrong. Here, let me share this. Sorry about that. So you can see this here, 99%. Well, when we go back here, and apparently Poilievre, who's a betting market, which is more of a real tell of who's going to win. Don't know if this is true, but it looks like even they have Pierre Poilievre at 99%, which is kind of crazy because that means, if that's true, that means they're extremely confident that Pierre Poilievre is going to win and that Justin Trudeau basically has no chance. We'll see. I know the pleb likes to actually, he was actually nice enough to have me on his show, but I know sometimes he'll post things that are, jokes and things like that too. But I decided to share it with you guys because even if this isn't real, it's still pretty funny. Let's see here. Next. 40 MPs should vote non-confidence or switch to the Conservative Party. Yeah, well, and that's another thing that they could do too, as well, right? Because the next time they do have a vote of non-confidence, if the Conservatives and the Bloc get together and the NDP decides to vote with the Liberals, but those 40 Liberals decide to vote with the Conservatives and the Bloc, they would actually have enough, and that could force an election. And maybe that's something they're going to tell Justin Trudeau tomorrow, like, hey, listen, you could step down, resign gracefully, or we're going to turn on you and we're going to vote with the Conservatives. We're going to vote with the Bloc. And that maybe that is enough to get Justin Trudeau to stand down. The walls are closing in on him, and let's hope these MPs can finally do the right thing. But do they have it in them to do that? Well, that's interesting, right? Because, I mean, why are they doing this in the first place, right? Like, are they doing this because they actually care about Canada? No. They're doing this because they're scared that they're going to lose their jobs, right? And they're going to have to go get a real job and do some real work somewhere if they haven't already qualified for their pension. But that being said, do they have the balls to do it? When it comes to their job security, they probably will do something. I don't see them arranging a meeting and then sitting there and doing nothing about it. But then again, these are Liberal MPs we're talking about here. The whole caucus is full of a bunch of cowards. So who knows? Who knows what they're going to... Who knows what they're actually going to do, but hopefully they do the right thing. Now, I don't know if you guys heard as well, but it looks like Donald Trump is going to be going on the Joe Rogan podcast. I have heard that this is official, and it's going to be on Friday. I don't know what time yet, but that is going to be a wild, wild podcast. It's very likely to get over 100 million views, which I believe would be the biggest podcast of all time, and it will be the biggest podcast. With those numbers, it'll be the biggest one for a very long time, in my opinion. If what Pierre said about Liberals asking Pierre to question Trudeau, then they should cross the floor. Yeah, and that's another thing that Pierre Poilievre brought up today, right? Where he said, these Liberal MPs are actually coming to talk to us and my Conservative constituents. So if they'll talk to us, they can't talk to you, maybe they will cross over, or maybe they'll just vote in non-confidence, like I said earlier. He's going to keep delaying that. Yeah, he might. I mean, and that's a real possibility. He has said many times that he wants to basically have a fight with Pierre Poilievre, and it's not going so well. It's not going well that thus far. But that being said, I would imagine that Justin Trudeau is going to have some dirty tricks up his sleeve, right? I would imagine that Justin Trudeau is going to come out with some sort of universal basic income, or next thing there's some sort of scandal with one of the conservative MPs that they just completely make up. But they're going to do something. They're going to play dirty. There's no way they're just going to continue to just embarrass. Well, they'll embarrass themselves, but there's no way they're just going to continue to do what they're doing without pulling some sort of dirty trick, in my opinion. But also let me know what you think about that as well, because I know that when it comes to the Liberals, there's probably nothing that they're not willing to do. They want to stay in power badly, and they want to continue to ruin this country, and it's up to us to not let them do it. So Bree says, I just want him gone. Larry Brock was on Northern Perspective today and said they're going to completely overhaul procurement. Thank goodness. Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't checked out that video. I was working on my stupid audio issues, and then I had to work today as well. But I'll be checking that out later tonight. But yeah, thanks for that information. So what do you guys think about Trump being on Joe Rogan's podcast? I know usually I totally talk about Canadian politics, but with the election season coming up we are in election season right now, with the election being a couple weeks away. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the chat. I also have another clip to show you guys. I don't know if you remember this. It's a bit old, but it's hard to get a 300,000 plus job, so that's all they care about, not the country or us. Absolutely, Nancy. I completely agree with you. Bree says that'll be awesome, and Kevin says Brock was amazing. Yeah, I mean, I've heard so many good things about Larry Brock, and from what I've seen, he also presents himself very well. He's also kind of an attack dog. He's really feisty. He doesn't let the Liberals get away with any of their crap. So I do like Larry Brock. He's probably one of the best conservative MPs. Emily says, hello. Hey, Emily, thanks for joining. Oh, I can't wait till he's gone and all we can do is pray for an early election. Yeah, I completely agree, Miriam. Phoebe says, I thought Rogan hated Trump. Well, a couple years ago, the topic of Trump came up on Rogan's podcast, and what Rogan was basically saying is that he didn't want to help him. I don't want to have him on. It'll gain him fans, yada, yada, yada. But with all the things that they've been trying to do to Trump, right? I mean, they've tried to take his property, his money. They've assassinated his character. They tried to assassinate him twice. And, trying to put him in jail and all these indictments. And it's crazy. And then not to mention, Trump does attend a lot of the UFC. So they've met a couple times and they seem to get along. So it does sound to me like we're going to be up for a 2 or 3 hour, very, very interesting conversation on Friday. And it's going to be an interesting one. So I mean, I can't wait. As soon as I do find out the time, I'll post something on my community tab, or on X. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be in public knowledge pretty quickly. Love Mr. Brock. He is one great man. Yep, absolutely. Brock for Justice Minister. Well, he has a career in police enforcement, doesn't he? Or law enforcement, rather. I really hope Kamala does Joe Rogan. The content from that would be amazing. I agree, Emily. I mean, that would be not only hilarious, but it would I think her numbers would actually tank even further. I mean, you look at the poly market betting, Trump's at like 60% now, which I haven't seen that ever in a political race. I mean, especially when that's supposed to be this close. Trump is surging right now, and he's surging in a big way. But I'll be honest with you guys, I don't see that happening. As much as I would rather Donald Trump than Kamala Harris, with all that they've done to him, I don't see them just inaugurating that guy. There's going to be something. They're going to try something. And I don't know what that is. I'm not going to make any speculations. I know YouTube isn't happy when I do that, but they're going to try. They're going to do everything they can to not inaugurate that guy. I think you guys would all agree with that. Brock was a prosecutor. Okay. Crown prosecutor for 18 years. Okay. Yeah. So he's got a lot of experience. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that when Pierre Poilievre gets to be the prime minister, he's gonna. I would assume anyway that he's gonna be giving Mr. Brock a pretty high cabinet position, as well as Melissa Lantsman, Raquel Doncho, and all those other people, which are doing a really great job right now, and they're going to be replacing all those liberal ministers and cabinet ministers, which is going to be fantastic when it happens. Now, again, I don't really want to play a video here because I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it. But remember when Elizabeth May got so drunk and she started praising some guy, some Cotter guy, and she started playing the Welcome Back Carter, and she was just absolutely hammered. Maybe I'll make a separate video on that tomorrow once I get all these issues figured out. But yeah, that's something to check out. Also, I don't know if you guys heard the bad news, but last night, New Brunswick had an election to select a new premier. And Susan Holt, the Liberal candidate, and you heard it right, the Liberal candidate got elected, and not only got elected, but won a majority. So I don't know if any of you guys are from New Brunswick or if you got family or friends out there, but can you explain to me what's going on out there? I don't know how that happens when you're seeing just such a massive blue wave everywhere else, but the Maritimes can be really sketchy that way. What's the plan for tonight? I'm just going to stream because I was having some issues putting out a video. So, I'll stream for a little bit and, yeah, we'll see what goes from there. Then I got to get to work on fixing these issues so that I can make videos again tomorrow. So we'll see about that. What are you guys up to tonight? Some really amazing people on that side of the house. Absolutely. I just moved from New Brunswick. It's super liberal. Really, Emily? Because I thought where I live here in Toronto, or south of Toronto and Hamilton, was really liberal, or NDP, same thing. But I didn't realize that New Brunswick was going to not only elect a liberal, but as a majority. I mean, do they get some sort of tax rebates that the Conservatives want to take away, or there must be something, right? I mean, I can't imagine an entire province worth of people being that indoctrinated. New Brunswick, what the hell were you thinking? Yeah. Rest in peace, New Brunswick. Yeah, I mean, I'm never going there. Not that I had plans to, but what a nightmare. In Quebec, it looks like Conservatives can't pierce through either, but I'd mostly blame where people get their information, mainstream media. Yeah, absolutely. And the good thing about, well, I guess it's not a good thing, but the interesting thing about Quebec is the Liberals are still going to lose a lot of seats, and they're going to lose them to the Bloc. Now, again, the Bloc is more like a Quebec nationalist party. Again, I have no idea why they have federal party status, but they do, and at least they're going to probably try to help us get an election. So, I mean, the Bloc will probably win some seats. I mean, at this point, anything but the Trudeau NDP Liberal coalition is the better option, at least in my opinion. To be honest, I'm surprised that they won a majority, considering the only riding that was actually or staunchly liberal was the Moncton area. Yeah, they seem to do well in a lot of other ridings, which really kind of shocked me. Bree says, I live in Cornwall, Ontario. As far as I can remember, it's always been conservative with provincial and federal. Well, good job, because, I mean, again, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not a conservative person. Socially speaking, I'm actually pretty liberal, but fiscally speaking, I'm absolutely conservative, and that's basically one of the biggest reasons they need to go. I'm also a populist, and Justin Trudeau is a globalist. So, right, when you get populists and globalists together, there's a lot of fighting, and that's one of the reasons I hate Justin Trudeau. If you go back to the lockdowns, the convoy, all that nonsense, he lost me then, and he's never going to get me back. Cornwall is based. Yep, absolutely. Watching what went on in the BC and NB provincial elections made me think of the USA's 2020 election. They were just not right. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting how long it's taking to do the recounts and all that. And I know if we go over here, I think I still have it up. Yeah, so right now this is, you got the officially elected, the NDP has 44, the Conservatives have 45, but the NDP is leading in two ridings where it was so close they have to do recounts. Now, from what I've heard, there is a decent chance the Conservatives can take that lead and John Rustad can win, because these ballots they haven't counted were, I think they were like early ballots where people who were traveling on vacation or doing whatever, they couldn't vote during the election time, so they voted early. I think they still have to count those votes. And most people who go on vacation or they're out for business probably are making some money, which means they're probably pretty conservative. Maybe, maybe not. But I'm hoping that's what happens because, man, I mean, either way, I mean, the Conservatives getting 45 seats, which I think it's been like 100 years since they've done well in that province. It's a step in the right direction, but we still would like to see the NDP lose because they deserve it. Melissa is awesome. I'm close to Thorne. Yeah, Melissa Lanceman's good. Yeah, very based. Is there only 2 ridings up for grabs? Yeah, so I can't remember exactly which riding, but yeah, the NDP is still leading in both of them, but it was like under 100 votes or something like that. So it's insanely close. So, that whole thing, hey, my vote's not going to matter. It matters now. When elections are close, every vote does matter, and we need to get as many people out to vote in the next elections, especially the federal one, because we don't need Justin Trudeau to just lose and Pierre Poilievre to win a majority. We need to send a message to the Liberal Party. You went way too far left. If you went populist instead of woke and stopped all these ridiculous policies and taxes that they put out, they would actually be doing a lot better, I think. And if they had some sort of a base leader, not Justin Trudeau, or really anyone in that Liberal cabinet, they're going to have to basically reform their whole party. And that's the message we need to send to them. I hope they get so few seats, they just go, oh my God. And they just kind of, blow it up and rebuild it. And that's what they're going to have to do to get trust back. And even then, it's going to take a long time to get there. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know what the plan is for the Liberals or the NDP. But I mean, let's be honest. The Liberals, they need a new leader. NDP, they need a new leader. The Greens are never going to get anywhere with Elizabeth May. And the PPC is never going to get anywhere with Max. Mad Max isn't some anti-globalist, oh, he's going to come and fight against Big Pharma and the big war machine. No, he's not. He's a coward. I don't know if any of you guys are PPC supporters or followers, but I used to follow Maxime Bernier until he blocked me because I just gave him some pretty simple criticism. And I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, I'm a nobody, and if you can't handle my criticism, how are you going to stand up to the people with power? The answer is he's not. Honestly, it's better that the bloc becomes official opposition than Liberal. And yeah, for sure, because, at least then, the Liberals and the NDP will learn their lesson. And if they came back over to the center a little bit, people gain their trust back. As long as they don't have any globalist tendencies or any globalist elitist leaders, maybe they can eventually get the trust back. But I don't know. It's going to be a sad day for the Liberal Party, and I have no sympathy because, again, they absolutely deserve it. I hope they get below 12 seats. They don't even have official party status. They would have basically zero power to get anything done. And then the Conservatives will show them how, hey, this is how we're going to cut financial nonsense and put programs that we can afford and that help people. Liberals don't seem to want to do that. All right, let's see what else I got here. So I posted something on X here. Let me share this. A little bit controversial, I guess, but I want to know what you guys think. In my opinion, I think that they should deport every single person who is burning our flag and chanting death to Canada or death to Canadians. The Pleb posted something I think it was yesterday, where there was a woman walking around Toronto with a Taliban sign. She had some white flag with the Taliban symbol on it. Like, what are we doing? Again, I'm all for immigrants. Like, we just need to manage the program. And no, I don't think we should be allowing people in our country who simply think it's okay to burn our flag and chant death to the country that's let you in. Let me know what you guys think. Campfire Girl Evening all in chat from chat. Oh, nice. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining in. What do you guys think about deporting everyone who hates this country? Pretty sure you're all going to agree with me, but I'm interested to hear your opinions. Yeah, so here's more information on the seat standings in the New Brunswick. I mean, 29 seats, and the PC's only got 15. Well, I guess technically it was 31 to 16, but still, I mean, same difference, right? I mean, it's really, really embarrassing. I agree 100%. Deport, deport, deport. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Allison, that's a very good point. I think that we need to put in more strict immigration programs. That's for sure. Absolutely. You hate us, get the hell out. Yep, I agree, Phoebe. Yep, get rid of keywords, please. Yep, I agree, Bree. And Nancy says, Emily, so they say, but brought they brought those. Yeah. Yeah, it's again, if you just manage an immigration system properly, I got no problem with it. None whatsoever. But they just seem to want to. Well, I don't know. Have you guys ever heard of the Century program? Let me actually pop this up for you here. Century. Or sorry, it's called the Century Initiative. So take a look at this. Oh, they've actually changed the website since I've been here. They used to have a tracker of how many people they were letting in. Oh, I think I found it. Yeah. Population of Canada, 41 million. Population change since midnight, 2,333. Why 100 million? And that's that's what they want to do here. They want to add they want to make Canada's population 100 million. Why 100 million? The world is changing at a rapid pace and Canada is falling behind. Our population is aging. We're having fewer children. Thanks, Justin Trudeau, and your taxes, and it making it so expensive to do anything here. And our workforce is shrinking. If we stay the course, Canada's annual GDP growth will decline, along with our influence on the world stage. So here's a great idea. Why don't you make it easier and better for people to start their own businesses and have families and buy houses? That's just my take. Growing our population to 100 million by 2100, it's a long time, would reduce the burden on government revenues, yada, 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 yada. Basically, what they mean is that they want to flood the country with people so that we eventually are the minority, and then the people who are the majority are people who aren't from here and don't care about this country as much as we do. Sounds like a great idea, eh? Not. NB is woke. Woke is broke. Yep, absolutely, Allison. Jim Brown, that's right. They should all be deported out of Canada. Absolutely, and thanks to you for the comment, guys. Bree says Toronto seems to be the worst affected by this stuff, eh? These people who hate our country. I think Ottawa too. Yep, I'm in Montreal today. I don't see anything that strange or dangerous. Luckily, yeah. Well, when I saw these people burning the flag, that was actually out in Vancouver. So you got Vancouver, you got Toronto, you got Ottawa. I've seen some stuff in Montreal, but not too much, thankfully. Catherine Tate got fired, and they hired someone. Really? I heard that they were thinking about removing her and defunding the CBC altogether. Who did they replace her with? Sango Reborn says we're having fewer children, but make Canada absolutely unrecognizable, and people will want to have more babies, so they think. Yeah, again, it makes no sense. Why don't you just make it so that it's really easy, or not really, and nothing in life that's worth it is easy, but why don't you just make it reasonably attainable? Right? Like if you want, like the house I rent, if it sold today, it would sell for like $600,000. It's 100 years old. It's a big house, but it's not that nice. Should be worth a couple $100,000. Couple $100,000 you could work to buying a house, especially if rent goes down, you get to save more money, and we get rid of these dumb taxes, and groceries go down, and maybe we can do something about the job market and the stagnant wages. Wages since I've been an adult have only gone up about 2%, and rent has more than doubled. So think about that for a second. Again, thanks, Trudeau. How can we save? How can we afford to have a family? This guy's such a dumbass. I don't even think it's not even that he doesn't care. I think he wants this on purpose because I think he's evil. Maybe I'm being conspiratorial, but I think that dude's super, super evil. Tate should be gone, absolutely. I'm in Vaughan, and thankfully I don't see it here. That's why I stay far away from Toronto. Well, and that's the thing, too. I've heard a lot of people, they go over to a place like Toronto, and maybe they're from some, middle central town in Ontario, and they go, oh my God, I'm never coming back here. And I don't blame them. Toronto used to be such a great city, and now it's just falling like the rest of Canada. It's so sad to see. Yeah, this 100 million by the year 2100. That's interesting. I think that their real plan is to get to 100 million even before that. If I'm being honest with you. Yeah, let me know who replaced Catherine Tate. Do you guys know the answer? Let me look here. Since Catherine Tate. I saw this here where she was complaining about the MPs are trying to vilify her as if she's done nothing wrong. Yeah, let me know. I can't seem to. It's not really saying anything here. Hmm. I went to Toronto in 2023, and I was so scared. The addiction issue is scary, obvious. Yeah, it's like that here in Hamilton too. I mean, basically every park you go, not every park, but most parks that you go to, needles, tents everywhere, people doing drugs. It's really sad. Even like right outside of schools too. Allison says a 95-year-old man in BC is homeless and has to live in BC hospital. It's sad how Trudeau treats seniors. And well, that's the thing too, is that a lot of these seniors have pensions, but their pensions aren't enough to keep up with these ridiculous costs of living expenses. So you see these seniors, maybe they're bringing in a couple grand a month or a little bit less, and they're sleeping in a tent. They lost their home. It's disgusting. Jim Brown says, I have a Mohawk warrior flag. If I was to walk around downtown carrying it, I would be arrested. If you do anything pro Canada or pro country, it seems like you're going to be arrested. But if you're not from here and you do it, no problem. We're just going to turn our head the other way. It's disgusting. You skipped my last three. Oh, did I? Sorry. Maybe they didn't show up. I'm not seeing it here. The last one I see is you asking if there is 2 ridings up for grabs in BC. Was there anything else? I may have missed something. Is talking about globalism and no. Oh, maybe the chat's got. Yeah, I know YouTube does that sometimes, where if they see comments like that, they do kind of tend to scrub them. So I'm just thinking, like the way to get around that is maybe put like a period in between the controversial words that you're using, and maybe it'll show up there. But yeah, I mean, I've talked about globalism before a little bit too, and I haven't had like any strikes or anything, so that's kind of strange. Yeah, try to retype your message and maybe put like a period in it so that the YouTube algorithm doesn't see it. Sometimes you gotta trick them. They showed up for me. This YouTube is sneaky. Yeah, they are sneaky. And I know they've been. I don't know if you've seen, but like I know Northern Perspective and the Pleb, they've had issues. I think Mr. Sunshine too, where people are just like being unsubscribed from their channel. And it even happened to me. Like I when the Pleb mentioned it, I checked and I was unsubscribed, and I was like, wait a minute, I've been subscribed to the Pleb for over a year. And then so I resubscribed, watched his video the next day, and they unsubbed me again. So I know they play a lot of weird games, especially with political channels. All right, guys. So that's going to be it today I'm going to wrap this up. I don't have too much more to cover. I am going to work on this technical issue. I do need to spend some time on that as well. But thank you guys all for joining me. Again, please, you can still leave comments in this. I am going to put this up as a regular video as well. So I don't feel, don't be afraid to share the video and like the video. Leave some more comments if you like. Yeah, nice meeting you too, Emily, and thanks again, every one of you, for joining me, and I appreciate all the commentary as well. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Please don't also forget to hit that like and subscribe button, as it really does help grow the channel, and I'll be back shortly with a new video. Good night, everyone.